the fundamental aspect of this has to go back to what are Hamas, what are Hezbollah. They are resistance movements. They are organizations that have resulted, that have were born of, that exist because of resistance to Israeli occupation. Hamas comes about in the 1980s. Hezbollah comes about in 1982, following Israel's second invasion of Lebanon. So, I mean, this understanding that an occupied people has a right to resistance, as understood both under international law and natural law, is something that is embodied then in Hezbollah and Hamas. We may not like how they have carried out their resistance, but certainly they have the right to armed resistance as an occupied people. And the idea that somehow they're going to go away and the occupation is going to persist is just, I don't know where people get that idea. So it's the same result. I mean, I was an occupier in both Iraq and Afghanistan. I was a Marine Corps officer in Iraq carrying out occupation, and I was a State Department officer in Afghanistan, serving as essentially a colonial administrator. I might have had, hundreds of my years before, I would have been walking around with like a little safari hat and, khaki shorts on or something like that, like I was part of the British Empire. But certainly this idea that Hezbollah and Hamas are fundamentally anything other than the manifestation of armed resistance against occupation. If you don't accept that, and again, you can disagree with them, you can dislike them, you can be opposed to them, but if you don't accept that as a principle, you will never, ever get to any position where there's any chance of resolution. I mean, that's what I saw firsthand in Iraq. I mean, for years in Iraq, we refused to acknowledge that the Iraqi resistance was based upon our occupation. We bent ourselves into contortions. We just did mental gymnastics like you wouldn't believe in order to claim the Iraqi resistance was anything other than resistance to our presence, resistance to foreign occupation. It's because they're all criminals, or they're all dead enders holding on to the hope that Saddam Hussein comes back, or they're all jihadists. They all, believe in Al-Qaeda. All these, maybe for a handful of them there were, but the 96, 97% of the Iraqis who fought us because we were occupying them. And it wasn't until about 2006, 2007 that the United States started to accept that. And then once it did, the United States was able to withdraw from retreat, essentially, from Iraq, but under somewhat stable conditions, conditions that, of course, only lasted for a few years. And that's a whole other episode we can get into as to why. But, essentially the same fundamentals are there. As long as Israel is occupying the Palestinian people, as long as Israel is occupying the Lebanese people, you will have armed resistance to that occupation.